What's up, everyone? It's Thomas with Real Broker here in St. Augustine, Florida, coming at you live every Wednesday at 8 p.m., going over the market stats, the news you need to know about for thinking about buying, selling, or investing here in Northeastern Florida. And we're also doing A. So if you have any questions while we're watching the live stream or you're watching the replay, throw them in the comments below and I'll answer them live, or I'll come back to them as soon as I can and get those answered for you. Seems like we had some technical difficulties here. The software program I was using kept shutting down, saying I had audio issues. So it's probably 2 or 3 streams like this that are going to be up for whatever reason. So I'll have to take them down. But either way, we're going to continue, and I'm going to try and make this a quick one. And I've had a busy week so far, and want to get this over with. So let's go ahead and take a look at the market stats for Northeastern Florida. And I'm going to share those in just 1 second here. Where are we at? All right, so we take a look at February 2025. The median sale price, now this is just for St. Johns County, is going to be $500,000, which is up from $462 in February of 2024. And then if we look, see what it's up from January, it's up roughly 4% from just this time last month. But, you know, the hard thing here is that there's not a whole bunch of transactions going on. So we're going to see these big sways in closed sales and the median sale price based off of the amount of transactions. So you see in January 2025, we had 355. So transactions are starting to move up here in St. Johns County, up 11% from this time. From January 2025, we go down to February of 2024. We're going to see that we're down a significant percentage, right? So February of 2024, we're at 507 closings. We're at 397 right now, so down 21% since this time last year. And I mean, if you look at the closed sales here, you can see it kind of goes up and down, up and down. So we got 397 here, and then we're at 507 in February of 2024. So let's go back here to February. So it looks like it's on about the same path, right? So we had a low of January of 362, pretty much the same over here, 355. And it's still early in the month. I know it's like, you know, middle of the month for a lot of people, but a lot of there'll be a lot of revisions to the February numbers by the time that we get into March. And for whatever reason, that's just agents not putting their information out there into the MLS and figuring it out. So let's take a look at the Northeastern Florida area quick. And I think this is really interesting. So this is all of the counties, right? In Northeastern Florida: Flagler, Nassau, Putnam, St. Johns County, Clay, Duval, Bradford, and Baker. So all of these counties combined with a median sale price of $364. I was just looking at this today. I have a video coming out on Jacksonville on Saturday. And the median sale price within the state of Florida is $410,000. And if you compare Jacksonville to any other metropolitan area, it's going to be cheaper all day, but it's cheaper comparatively to the rest of the state as well. So when you take a look, we're at $311,000 for the median sale price, which is down 4.2% compared to $325 of February of 2024. But as you can see, like, it's kind of, you know, I'll show the mortgage rates here. As mortgage rates increased, it's kind of flatlined our market. It hasn't gone down, hasn't gone up a tremendous amount. It's kind of just been hovering around here. So nothing too crazy to report when it comes down to that. Market seems to be pretty stable. There are definitely more listings on the market. So if you are a buyer, you have a lot more negotiation room. If you're a seller, we're heading into the main time. Like, you want to put your home on the market within the next couple months here, because the peak pricing of every single year is sometime between June, July, and August, right? Every year it's slightly different, but it's during our summer months. And if you're deciding like, hey, I want to wait till summer to list my house, that is the wrong strategy, because by the time you list your house in June, the market has already started to cool off, right? So a lot of people that were making that move have more than likely identified something so that they can close in July or August. So if you are looking to make a move, right now is the time to start looking at getting your house ready to go on the market within the next couple months here, right? And that's when our market, when you look at our seasonality trends, really from March through summer, prices start to peak, and then after summer, prices start to go down a little bit. So this is the time, right? If you have any questions, let me know. We got Instagram user, this is awesome info. Really appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. I see I got Alex Stewart on with us. I don't know if you noticed, but I got my Market Distillery on for you. I already somehow got some junk on it, though. I literally put it on today. My wife says I can't wear white shirts anymore, so she might be right. Either way, let's take a look at the news stories here, guys. We're going to run through these, and then if you have any questions regarding what we're saying, let me know in the comments below. All right. Weekly mortgage demand surges 11% higher as interest rates drop for the 6 weeks straight. The average 30-year mortgage rate with conforming loan balances, $806,000 or less, decreased last week to 6.67 from 6.73, which on a week-over-week basis is a huge drop, right? That's really a pretty significant amount. But when you're looking at it and you're like, hey, my payment, a 6.67 versus 6.73, that's really not that big of a difference, right? I just think how quickly it decreased, that's pretty interesting. Applications to refinance a home loan, which are more influenced by weekly rate changes, increased 16% from the previous week and were 90% higher than the same week 1 year ago. Applications for a mortgage purchase of a home rose 7% for the week and were 4% higher than the same week 1 year ago. And I think that's actually something very interesting. Like, we just took a look at the closed sales, right? And there are lagging indicators here, but you could see that February we had a completely different month, about 20% less closings than we had this time last year, yet mortgage applications are up nationally. So what does that tell me? Could be a certain number of things. Here in St. Johns County in northeastern Florida, we have a lot of new construction. So all these people who are worried about rates going with new construction are more than likely having that worry satisfied because they're buying down interest rates. We also have about a quarter of our market is cash. So a quarter is new construction, a quarter of our market's cash. So I'd be really surprised to see like what happens next month when these numbers come out. But it's interesting to see like, hey, mortgage applications are up, but closings in our area are down. And especially when you're comparing it year over year, it's down 20% compared to this time last year in St. Johns County. So is that a sign of the times of what's going to happen this year? Or is it just a slow start for the spring summer market? We'll stay on top of it, guys, of course. Any questions about it, let me know. Let's go on to the next news story here. And I got a couple of them for you. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right, never mind. We're not going to go to that one then. Florida Republicans turn on DeSantis administration and DOGE-like quest to cut spending. We are the guardians of the taxpayer, State House Speaker Daniel Perez says during the opening day of legislative sessions. So, as we all know, DOGE is playing a major part in our lives right now in the federal government and reducing spending, or at least attempting to reduce spending. But they're saying that, it can't tell legislators how many cars the state owns. Agency secretaries are found to be working remotely, even though their main headquarters are in Tallahassee. And a House panel discovered one agency spent tens of thousands of dollars in travel expenses for 4 state employees who aren't living in Florida. So what they're doing is they're trying to be the DOGE of the state, right? And they're saying that we don't need DOGE to come in here and make some changes. I don't know about that. I'm not exactly, they say that Florida, especially with all the tourism that we've had, that we have a surplus of money in terms of our state. Who really knows when we look at these things, especially with politicians, they move things all around just to make things look better than they actually are. Do I think that we should have an additional, hey, let's take a look at what the state is spending and run it through some AI programs? Yeah, I think we should have that. Should it be DOGE? Could be DOGE, could be another company. It doesn't bother me who it is. But I feel like if you're going to say like, hey, I'm a state lawmaker and I'm against another party coming in here and looking into what's going on, makes me a little nervous about what that really means, and why you're so skeptical. It's like if you're already regulating and you're saying like, hey, we're DOGE before DOGE, right? And that's what it says here in the article. Then you should have no problem, right? They should come in and there should be pretty much, you guys are seeing the same things. But if you're afraid of like that deep dive into the finances, and that gives you pause for concern. So we'll stay up to date on it. We'll see what they say. But once again, I'm not a big fan of politicians, but what can you do? We got to have them. So this is one good thing that happened here locally. Support of Senate bill brings Black History Museum into St. Augustine closer to reality. So it was already approved from what I saw, but I guess another senator put in a bill trying to bring it to another part of the state of Florida. There were like 5 cities that were in the running to have the Florida Black History Museum put there, and West Augustine won out. So city leadership, all pictured here, went out to Tallahassee to show like, hey, we want this to happen. And it seems that that kind of pushed it over the ledge. The Florida Senate Committee on Community Affairs reportedly favorably Senate Bill 466 with a vote of 7-0. March 11, the bill supports the efforts of St. Johns County to secure the state's first Black History Museum in West Augustine area. So this is the entire state of Florida's first Black History Museum is coming to our area, which I think is an awesome add because we have such great history here anyway. This is just going to add another layer to that, which I think is also going to draw a different demographic in general to our area, which I think is going to be really cool. Aside from this, let's see, they have it outlined here. It's going to be on Florida Memorial University, which was once located in St. Augustine, but it's still the land. It's 40 acres of land. And what they want to have is the recommendation was for a place that's financially self-sustaining, performing arts facility that included a 500-seat main theater with a 200-seat black box theater, along with supporting facilities and amenities. So this is the draw up of what they have here for what it's going to be. It's going to be here in West Augustine, just off of the intersection of Holmes and West King. I think it's going to be cool. And also, it's going to draw people from the downtown tourist section through the West King section, which West King is already starting to get its own little pop going. But that's full, like where West King is pretty much right next to US 1, is very close to downtown. They're trying to pull that out at least another mile to this Black History Museum. So it'd be really interesting to see what the main street of West King Street looks like in the next couple of years, especially if this does move forward. Now they do have another step here where they have to go in front of another committee in, I guess, September, which, once again, I mean, all this, they've been working on this for years now. And it just seems that like anytime you need to get something done and the government just keeps stepping in the way, it just seems like, come on, let's go. So the next step in the legislative process is for the bill to be heard before the Senate Appropriation Committee on Agriculture, Environment, and General Government. Another loop that you got to jump through, I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? To me, it's like, hey, it's approved. Let's move forward. But now they got to go through another hoop to make sure that everyone's happy. It's kind of crazy. But that also could just be my ignorance to how government works and protects us. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? All right, on to the next news story. I'll get off my my soapbox. All right, DOGE has a federal office lease in St. Augustine in its crosshairs. The Defense Contract Management Agency leases space inside the Northrop Grumman facility. And it's a 4,000 square feet with annual lease of $78,000. And you know what? Like it's really not that much money. You know, you're really looking for these guys to go after the big ticket items. But I guess waste is waste, fraud is fraud. Who knows? But either way, DCMA provides contract administration services for the Defense Department, other federal organizations, and international partners. It basically acquires the equipment needed for the Defense Department. We asked how many people will be affected. Will they lose their job? If so, when? We were forwarded the official personnel and readiness inside the Department of Defense late in the day. We have not heard back. So who knows what's going to happen there? There's no official ruling on it, but do you think this is a bad thing or a good thing? I know this is a hot topic, DOGE and what's going on with our country, and having a group of teenagers, you know, that are apparently very smart, going through our finances and seeing what is considered waste and what is not considered waste. Very controversial, as you can see. I feel like people I'm tired of it, honestly. I can't go on social media and read these posts anymore about people complaining for or against it, or talking about tariffs and like they're for tariffs or against tariffs. And it's like, most people didn't even know what a tariff was till like 3 months ago. So now everyone's an expert in tariffs. Now everyone's an expert in government efficiency. I don't know, guys. I'm living on this earth and I'm keeping moving. On to the next news story. So before and after the rebirth of downtown Hastings. This is here in St. Johns County. I've mentioned this before on my YouTube channel. But located in southwest St. Johns County, downtown Hastings is experiencing a rapid economic rebirth. Here is a brief before and after look at the Florida Main Street District. So it was named after a cousin of Henry Flagler with the Hastings last name. It used to be a railroad location, a little railroad town, and they provided the food for the Flagler Hotel. But this is before the new businesses have moved in. Main Street is probably only like a handful more buildings on either side. It's not very big. It's more of like a country type, more rural Main Street, I would say. But they've got some cool stuff going in there. So this is what all these buildings look like redone, and they showed like what they have here. This is a nutrition shop. It's a veteran-owned smoothie and juice bar. And they also have a coffee shop, Chocolates. Offers bakery, desserts, coffee, and more. And then you also have Hastings Coffee Company, where Southern hospitality meets espresso. And they have a couple other things. I think there's a pizza shop that opened right there too as well. But if you're looking for affordability in St. Johns County, you're looking to be away from the hustle and bustle. You want more of a rural feel. Hastings, I think, is an awesome opportunity. There was a duplex that me and my wife were looking at, and it was such a good deal. We were going to buy it and live in it and rent out the other space and deal with because both my wife and I are not rural, countryside people. We like to be closer to the action, close but not too close. But definitely not either of us envision ourselves living in a more rural area. So that really deterred us from buying there, but we seriously considered it just because of the growth that I know that's happening there. But also it was a duplex, and it was like $350 for me to purchase it, and it would have been a great little income producing asset. Either way, we didn't pull the trigger, but it seems Hastings is moving on. They also just put a wastewater treatment facility in Hastings, brand new, or at least it's paid for to be done. So that's going to be happening as well. And I think that's because they see what's happening with the growth of St. Johns County, and they're looking for more areas to expand and bring some affordability. And that's where you can find it for sure. So any questions on that, let me know. We're going to head on to the next news story here. I think I only have one more for you here. So we'll call it a night after that. This one I read over twice, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm actually going to send this to my buddy and see what he has to say about it. But first thoughts before I show you this article, it seems to me that what they're trying to figure out for the strategic plan for St. Johns County is how many buildable lots that they have here. And it seems that one section wants to say no, the builders want to say, actually, we have less than you think we do. And there's another section that says no, we have more than we think we do. So, and then there's another section that's like, hey, we're going to change what this is. So based on zoning and what we want our housing density to be. So let's just cover this news story real quick. Builders want accurate lot count in St. Johns County's planning process. When it comes to planning for growth in St. Johns County, there are two main camps: those who want a major slowdown and those who want a practical path forward. So the current county commission is divided along these lines, and they're trying to update its comprehensive plan for 2050. The big question is whether the commissioners will take alterations to help accommodate growth in a county that has added approximately 200,000 residents in the last 25 years, or if they will act to constrict it. One of the major factors in deciding whether more space should be granted for development is how many entitled unbuilt home lots are out there in the county. There's a simple answer, and that number is 48,000, but that's just the legal entitlements, and builders are arguing that such a figure should not be used in planning for the future. They say commissioners and staff should be looking at the number of home sites that are truly available to builders and not include dormant entitlements and developments that are built out. Leading the industry here is Northeastern Florida Builders Associations. Its members are asking county staff and commissioners to consider the true number of available lots as around 25,000. So this goes, I'm not showing you this. Yeah. Well, either way. This goes to what I was saying before, is that it seems that the Builder Association wants to say hey, we don't have that many lots to build on. We don't have 48,000, we have 25,000. Whereas there's another group that's like, no, we have plenty of lots to build on. And there's another group that's saying like, hey, we may change the land use and the zoning density of certain areas so that 25,000 lots could be potentially 30 or 40,000 lots, right? So all this to be said is that what they're trying to figure out is what's the right way forward. If you're living in St. Johns County or looking to move here, one of the bigger problems that we've had over the past couple of years is overdevelopment, right? So if you moved here and you've lived here for 20 years, St. Johns County, St. Augustine is way different than it was 20 years ago. I'd also like to pose a question that which area isn't different than it was 20 years ago. But for some people, it's too much to stomach, right? A lot of the areas that were just, silviculture or they were farmland are now being turned into master plan communities. Now, instead of just having like a county road with one light on it, it's now got thousands of cars and master plan communities and traffic. And if you moved here to be away from all of that and you're getting stuck in traffic, you're not liking what's going on in the county. It's a double-edged sword though, right? Because if you don't build, well, then the inventory here in St. Johns County would then get compressed because people are moving here, right? And they have money, more money than the people that live here. So they're moving here regardless. So if you stop building, the prices of these homes are going to start to go up even faster than they were prior. If you keep building, well, then you ruin a lot of the charm of why people moved here. So what everyone's trying to figure out is we have to keep building. I think we all know that. But what's the right way to go about it? And one of the things that I saw them talk about with the strategic plan for St. Johns County is starting to use more infill lots so that they can, hey, there's already the infrastructure here. There's no home sitting on it as of right now. It's just an empty lot. Let's start developing those. So are they going to start adding incentives to those? I'm not sure. We'll see. But I think it's a really interesting article that highlights kind of the difference, two different sides of the coin. I'm on the side of the coin that we need to develop correctly, right? I think development overall is good, provides jobs for the area, also provides housing, and also keeps housing prices low, especially with a lot of these developments are production level builders. It's not like they're putting luxury development after luxury development. They're building homes for your standard middle class family somewhere between 300,000 and 500,000 for the most part, right? So I can't hate on that. I think that's great. Obviously, I'm a realtor and I want all that, I want all that commission, right? There's that element where it's like, yeah, it helps my job. But at the end of the day, if they didn't build any homes and then prices of homes went up higher here, I'd probably still make out okay. So my goal and what I want is I want people to be able to afford their house. So if we don't build more houses and homes get more expensive, well, the people that live here that are already saying like, hey, we have an affordability crisis, that's going to get worse. So maybe I came too late in this fight. Maybe my view on it is not correct. But I think we do need to develop, but we need to develop in the right way. What that is, not my job to figure out. But either way, guys, we got Instagram user. We are trying to tie into sewer. Seems like a tough timeline. The county does the extension from tax money. Let me see if I can see who said this. Oh, so this is John out in Volano Beach. Interesting. Is the sewer right in front of your house? That's the thing, is like you would think they would pull it out right away if you've got the money to do it. The county does the extension from tax money. Interesting. I wonder what the timeline is on that, John. Let me know. But yeah, so the county's typically pretty good about getting building permits and everything pushed forward. So maybe you need to give them a call down there and see what's going on. But overall, I think development is good. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it here for the night. If you guys have any questions or anything, throw them in the comments below. I'll come back and answer them. Here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I will say the next month or so, don't know how on schedule 8 p.m. I'm going to be. Just being honest. I want to do it every Wednesday for you guys, but my wife is full term now. Going to be having a baby anytime here. So my sleep schedule, my work schedule is going to be all thrown through a loop. So just being upfront and honest with you guys. But Either way, guys, see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. unless I'm having a baby. I'll see you then. Have a good one.